Okay, today we're going to make some biscuits. Really straightforward recipe you're going to use. I use this in the county fair, won some ribbons, it's pretty fun. Anyway, you're going to use the ingredients that are listed on here. One of the important things is the oven temperature needs to start out really high, 500 degrees, so get that going before you get things going. All the dry ingredients and the wet, you want them to be pretty cold, so if they were all refrigerated, except the shortening, that would be really great. So, you're going to lay out all your things, have that ready to go. Have a cookie sheet that doesn't have too much flex to it. You're going to mix all the dry ingredients. Then you're going to put in the shortening. I use a pastry blend here to get all the crumbles going together. And you're going to mix it up until there's little balls of stuff. What you don't want to do is you don't want to overwork this. Overworking it means if you were to mix it so hard and so thoroughly that essentially the shortening would start to melt when you did this, and it would come out really flat. There wouldn't be little air bubbles in there, and those air bubbles are what's going to help make the biscuit more tender and flaky and all the stuff that people really like. So you're going to mix it together. I turn the bowls. You go pastry blends. One with the wire tongs are fine. I've seen people use a fork. I could never do it that way, but when someone taught me, they used a fork, but I could never do it. I happen to like the pastry blend with little blades on them, but I broke my last one, so this is what I got. So, get it all mixed up. Then you're going to pour in the milk. Now, when I made this, I poured in too much milk, so you're not going to need to add additional flour that comes on later on. But after you get that going, you could pour the milk on all at once. You're going to have that knife, the regular table knife, to mix things up, because if you use a spoon it just globs to it. And again, you're not going to overmix this. The goal is just to have all the dry ingredients get wet. You're actually starting to rise as soon as you do that, so it's important to work a little bit quickly if you can, but the first time you do it, a little bit slower isn't going to hurt anything. I'm going to pour some flour onto the work surface. You probably have a little bit more space in this to work with, but I was trying to keep everything in the camera shot here. So then you're going to scrape the dough mixture out onto the flour. And again, the kneading part is important in that you don't want to knead it too much. And kneading it is kind of flipping it over time and time again, because if you do that too much, pushes all the air bubbles out, makes tough biscuits rather than tender, flaky ones that we're all trying to get. So just watch this part for a little bit. I put some flour on top. I usually have a little bit of flour on my hands, but I didn't I didn't quite have all the space to be able to do that today. I'm going to use the dough knife to flip it over. That helps me from having to knead it quite as much, and I don't end up having to put quite as much flour in there. Again, you don't necessarily need to do that, but it's just a little thing I do. I think it makes it come out a little bit better. So after you've folded it up, let's say 5 times, something like that. Each time you do that, it makes an additional layer, and those layers are what come out. You'll see later on when it gets all baked up really well. But again, I have a little bit too much milk in here, but so you won't need to do it quite as many times as I'm doing here. But still, it'll come out great. You just want to go until it's not quite sticky anymore. You can use a rolling pin. I just use my hands to pat it out pretty thin. I didn't show you the first cuts with the with the biscuit cutter because my hands were full of flour and I had to start another clip on the camera. So about 1/2 inch thick. Use a cutter. You could use a mug or a glass, but when you do that, that pushes it down and it kind of flattens out the dough some, so you won't get quite as much rise. But again, that's things to be kind of super particular about if you were trying to make them all come out perfect. But a biscuit cutter works best. A glass or a mug is probably second, but you just use whatever you have. It'll work great. People love it because they're tasty and warm. So the last ones get a little bit tougher as you go because you need them a little bit more. So the first couple will be the best ones out of the batch. Again, you look at them, look pretty flat. When you put it in the oven, you're going to, after you close the door, you're going to lower the temperature back down to 450. The bake time is going to be somewhere between 9 and 16 minutes, just depending. And you can see they're nice and flaky, look really tasty. Anyway, thanks for watching. They should come out pretty well. Any questions, just give me a call or shoot me an email, something. Thanks. Bye.